Hola! For this video, we were going to do the different embroidery stitches. As you can see, I have here my personalized sewing kit that I've done on the
At this
first
point, I
performance
prepared
task.
the different tools and materials that I will be using for this task. My thread as materials, cutting tools, marking tools, fabric, and my sewing kit on the side. Ready?
As I proceed sa aking pananahin ng different embroidery stitches, lalagyan ko muna ng marka ang aking fabric. Pwede akong gumamit ng folding method o di naman kaya para mas malinaw, pwede ang tailor's chalk o kahit ang lapis. Nang sa gayon, pag meron tayong marka, ay meron tayong guide para hindi pumaling ang ating mga gagawing pananahi. Next so let's proceed. I will put the thread on the needle. At this point, use appropriate needle for the right kind of cloth. I am using regular size of needle. At the same time, an elbow length of thread is appropriate to use for easier sewing. And I will use embroidery scissors in cutting the thread and not my teeth. So let's proceed with the simple embroidery stitch. The running stitch is good for making dash outline. It is also considered being the easiest stitch for outlining. The first step is at the back of the fabric, bring the needle through the front. As you can see, for the second step, bring the needle down in a distance from where you started to make it through the back. Continue the step, the first one and the second one, working right to left to make several running stitch. I will do it again. Can you follow? From the back, bring it to the front. And ta-da! I have here two outlines of running stitch. Large one and the smaller one. And for the next stitch, let's proceed with the ideal stitch for outlines. It is great for making a solid line. So that's what you call the back stitch. Let's start from the right side of the fabric. First step, bring the thread through the front and take it through the back. This creates one stitch. From the second one, bring the thread through the front again, or what we call the point C, and take it in through B or to the back. This way, we are creating a stitch by taking the thread backward. Bring the thread through the front or to the point D and take it in to the back or to the point C. You may continue this pattern to finish your design. I will do it again, so follow me. After continuously follow the steps, I will tie the thread using this step. Again, I will use embroidery scissors to cut the excess thread. And there you have it. A finished line of backstitch will look like this. And now, let's proceed with the chain stitch. Forms a row of linked stitches. It also gives a chain-like an appearance, or like petals line up one after the others. So as we do the stitch, let's follow these steps. Bring the thread through the front again. Put a needle back in A and bring it through the point B. But don't pull the needle out completely. Let's make it slowly. Again, bring the thread through the point A. Put the thread in the back of A and bring it through the point B, but don't pull the needle out completely. Now, take the thread around the needle from left to right to form a loop. Pull the needle now to tighten the loop. Continue the action by taking the thread around the back of the needle from left to right to form a loop, and pull out the needle to get the next loop of the chain. Keep on with this procedure till the end. Let's go now to a basic overlapping stitch, popular for its use in border, the herringbone stitch. It is so named as it resembles the bone extending from the spine of a herring fish. Again, it is the herringbone stitch. First, make a parallel mark for us to be guided as we go along in doing the herringbone stitch. The first step is to bring the needle out through the first stitch line at A. And now, take the needle in through B with lines diagonally across A on the second stitch line. Then take the needle back out through C, which lies near B. Now, the same procedure will be worked on the first stitch line. Take the needle diagonally across D and bring the needle back out through E. Continue to make such crosses on both stitch lines alternately. Make sure the diagonal stitches are parallel to each other to bring out the best look. A finished sequence of the herringbone stitch would look like this. From the front view up to the back view, the herringbone stitch. For the next stitch, I will make a guide like this. This guide will use as we make the satin stitch. So bring the needle out through front and put it on the back so that makes a stitch which cover a small area between the stitch lines. Continue the action to cover a small areas. A solid filling stitch that is used to cover a design area with long straight stitches work very close together. Once finished, the area is filled as shown, the satin stitch. For the sixth stitch, let's proceed with the French knot. This stitch involves wrapping the thread once or twice around the needle too, and pulling through a form of a knot on the surface of a fabric. So, here are the steps that we can follow to make our own French knot. First, here's the finished product. For the step 1, bring the needle out through front. Now place the needle close to the fabric and wrap the threads around it twice or more as shown. Keep the longer end of the thread pulled with your fingers while putting the needle back in the point just close to the front or to the first point. Pull down the needle through the fabric. You will see the first French knot formed. And for this, I made a seed-like mark to guide me as we go along to the seed stitch. This stitch uses the simple running stitch in a single direction to fill in the pattern. It is shorter stitch above the fabric and longer stitch on the reverse side. The seed stitch. Two simple steps in making the seed stitch. Make rows of short running stitch as illustrated. Try not to bend with the curves of the pattern. Here's our seed stitch. So now, there we have it. The different embroidery stitches. Running stitch, back stitch, the herringbone and the chain stitch, the satin stitch, the solid one, the French knot, and the seed stitch. Ilan lang yan sa napakaraming basic embroidery stitches na pwede nating magawa. So now, let's proceed with our performance task number 3. As we adapt the new normal, everyone is encouraging to observe safety protocols like washing your hands, physical distancing, no face-to-face class, wearing any personal protective equipment that will serve as our protection from spreading the virus, or simply wearing a face mask. So for this task, all we need to do is to make our personalized face mask. At this point, I have here a ready-made face mask, and I use white as possible. In transferring design, I have here direct drawing method using a fabric pen or pencil, any marking tools. I draw directly my design into the fabric. For the simple instruction and procedure, perform at least 3 basic stitches mentioned above by creating your own design on your face mask. Prepare an available cloth mask at home. If not available, you can make your own face mask. Masks will be personalized by putting design using at least 3 basic stitches. Once you're done, you can wear it, model it, take a shots, send it to your teacher. Here's my helpful tips. Make use of available materials that you can count at your home. Being resourceful and creative during this kind of situation can be a good advantage for you as a student. Criteria and instruction is available in our mini module. So here's my personalized face mask. As you can see, I wear it, model it, take a shots, and provide a collage for this. Don't forget to label your embroidery stitches that you use for your face mask. Can't wait to see yours. Send it now. Thank you.
Stay healthy and stay safe at home. God bless you all.